Let's start off kind of the way that we did with Connor, which is just broke the assist record. What was that? What was it like seeing him do that? And then was that on your radar at all? Did you have any idea that he was inching closer and closer to breaking that record?
I should know more about the statistical records our men are about to break, especially when we have Connor Schellenberger and Peyton Cormier on our team and they're in their final years. I should probably be more aware of it, but I really wasn't aware of all with Schellenberger. And certainly earning 7 assists put him in a place where if he only had 2 assists to break the record, I probably would have been notified and probably would have remembered, but I didn't even think about, that would be that far away. But it's it's just a testament to what his overall character is. Connor Schellenberger is the most unselfish person I know. He is always giving. He gets a nice NIL deal, he shares with his teammates. He comes back for less scholarship money for his 5th year to help his other teammates receive scholarship dollars. You see it on the field with his assists. He's always passing, distributing. He wants to be known as a great teammate. He doesn't want to be known as selfish. We almost have to tell him to shoot the ball, be more aggressive. So what you see with him breaking the all-time UVA assist record is certainly a snapshot of exactly who that man is, Mr. Unselfish.
And how much of his ability to break that record also just relies on the fact that him and Peyton have such a connection?
Yeah, they have a wonderful connection. And even if they didn't have a connection, it's pretty smart. Just throw the ball to 24. Peyton Cormier is he's gonna shoot that ball. And you're not getting a hockey assist or the second assist when you throw the ball to Peyton. So if you want an assist, it's a pretty good chance that you get one if you throw it into Peyton. And Connor certainly knows that.
Yeah, changing the subject a little bit, things on the face-off X. How do you feel about that going into Maryland?
Sure, it was wonderful to have Anthony Gabriel back this past week for the games against Robert Morris and Towson. Thomas Colucci has done a nice job in there, Matt D'Souza. But the real key's been our wings. Ben Ware and Joey Trenzi have been ferocious on ground balls. Our number of ground balls picked up by the actual face-off man is too low. We need our face-off men to pick up more ground balls. Luckily, Joey, Ben, and others are swooping in and doing the dirty work for us.
And so now you'll head to Maryland. Always a really, really tough game, but especially for them considering they return 90% of their goal scorers. How do you shut that down? Yeah,
and it starts with that face-off X, and they've got one of the best in the country, Luke Weirman, and his wing play with Chorus and their LSMs. Their offense is about as high of IQ of offense as you'll see. If there's a good shot, they'll pass it up for the better shot. It's really impressive how poised and patient they are on offense. And they've got dynamic dodgers, excellent feeders, and good shooters. So it's going to be a real big challenge for our defense.
Going back to face-offs for a second, is Gabriel sort of the #1 guy?
Yes, he's emerged as the #1 guy. If you had asked me the preseason, it was Gable Braun, but unfortunately Gable's sustained another injury and he's fighting through it. But yeah, Anthony has emerged after those first couple games with how much he was winning us the ball, more than 50-50, which was something we didn't know if we'd be able to realize this year in many games, but Anthony's been consistent right there.
And still using the other guys too, maybe this is just my lack of lacrosse knowledge, but is there a reason that you're mixing in Colucci and D'Souza, fairly frequently? Do they bring something different that's gonna why do you still use them sort of all three?
It's a great question, and it's the baseball analogy. Not every pitcher throws the same pitch. Not every face-off man uses the same move. So Gabriel has a strong clamp, whereas D'Souza's got a different move. Colucci's the counter guy. He's gonna counter what your best move is. And so we really are throwing it's like throwing a lefty pitcher, a righty pitcher, a knuckleballer. We're just trying to keep our opponent from being too comfortable about no one's coming. So, and having those different options also allows us to say, okay, our opponent is really good at this. Which one of our 3 counters that better? And so it's a new era, not having just one face-off guy take every face-off. That was the plan the last few years here. So it's a different era. So we're taking advantage of the fact that we've got multiple assets there.
Fascinating. And then going back to this weekend, you were down 5-2. That's your biggest deficit of the season, 3 goals. Oh, wow. And then obviously came back, kept it close until halftime, and then explosion. What happened there? What turned around?
Oh, certainly our offense. Well, we were able to take advantage of 4v4 and 5v5 situations, meaning we created turnovers on the defensive end and got down to the offensive end so quickly that Towson wasn't able to put their defensive personnel in the game. We scored 8 early goals. That's a phase what we call not the transition, where it's the pure fast break down the field, but not the settled. It's that in between when both teams are subbing and we were able to trap some of their offensive personnel on their defensive end. We scored 8 goals that way, which is a phenomenal number. We've never scored that many. And so it started with the defense creating those turnovers, pushing the ball up quickly so they couldn't substitute, and then taking advantage. And that's where Connor Schellenberger and Peyton Cormier really flourished. You give them 4 versus 4 instead of 6 versus 6, a lot more field space, a lot more openings.
And Joey Terenzi had 6 ground balls and also that sort of crazy assist at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah.
You've talked about him this season, but what have you been seeing from him? What does he bring?
He's the heart and soul of this team in so many ways. When you watch how Joey plays, how he pursues the ground ball, how he competes, how he hits the other team, I mean, he's an absolute warrior, and he epitomizes everything Virginia lacrosse is all about.
And just more generally about college lacrosse, we've had 4 number 1s the last 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
In college lacrosse. Do you see that? What do you think when you see that?
Yeah, it's a day and age of parity. There's absolutely, it has arrived, and it's really exciting for college lacrosse. You know, this probably isn't great for the video or for your newscast, but I sometimes joke, like, I want to be the Virginia coach 30 years ago when there was only about 5 teams in the national championship, right? Now there's about 15, and multiple teams can sneak in there, right? It's great. And the new number 1, West Point, they're fantastic. You know, we knew they'd be good coming in, and watched them a couple times this year. Fantastic lacrosse.